Welcome to DC Direct. I'm Lionel Donovan. Here in this show, we try to talk about some of the bigger stories, but we want to hear from you. So follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at TRT World, and use the hashtag DC Direct to let us know what you think and be a part of the conversation. In today's show, we're talking about the rising tensions between the U.S. and Iran.
Never, ever, ever in my life have I seen any transaction so incompetently negotiated as our deal with Iran.
America and the Europeans be better than.
Thank you all. Good evening.
The relationship between the United States and Iran has been hostile for some time. Neither country has an embassy in the other, and there isn't even an issue where the two share common ground. Now, as the U.S. considers sending thousands of more troops into the Middle East, it seems unlikely that the hostility between the two nations is set to ease anytime soon. Ch.29 is concerned that the situation is quickly getting worse.
I mean, it's at an unprecedented low. Even since 1979, it's never been this low. A lot of Trump's policies right now, it really is a repeat of the 1953 playbook, the coup against Mossadegh, like the oil embargo. That's the same thing that happened right now. There's a regime change strategy being pursued that is marked by not only a propaganda campaign, but according to U.S. officials, try to incite unrest, turmoil.
Let's take a closer look at what's recently happened between the U.S. and Iran. In 2002, U.S. President George W. Bush had some harsh words for Iran, Iraq, and North Korea.
States like these and their terrorist allies constitute an axis of evil, arming to threaten the peace of the world.
But in 2008, Bush sent an official for the first time to join nuclear negotiations with Iran in Geneva.
We believe it's a smart step to underscore the seriousness that we want to solve this issue diplomatically.
After Barack Obama took over the presidency in 2009, he told Iran's leader, "We will extend a hand if you are willing to unclench your fist." Obama said he would also persuade the West that Iran was not trying to build a nuclear bomb.
We really only had one period where there was diplomacy between the two sides aimed at resolving one area of U.S.-Iran dispute, and that was the nuclear negotiations in Obama's second term that led to the nuclear deal.
On September 28, 2008, Obama and Rouhani talked on the phone. This was the highest level contact between the two countries in 3 decades. But then, on January 20th, 2017, Donald Trump became president of the United States. And just 2 weeks after his inauguration, Trump began to change the U.S.'s approach to Iran. In his first address to the UN General Assembly, President Trump called on the world
to join us in demanding that Iran's government end its pursuit of death and destruction. And above all, Iran's government must stop supporting terrorists, begin serving its own people, and respect the sovereign rights of its neighbors.
And Iran's President Rouhani hit back, calling out Trump's
ignorant, absurd, and hateful rhetoric, filled with ridiculously baseless allegations.
On May 8, 2018, Trump announced that the U.S. would withdraw from the 2015 nuclear deal. Since then, there have been threats and sanctions from both sides. And this year, things got even worse. In February, at the Munich Security Forum, Iranian Foreign Minister Javad Zarif accused the U.S. of
exporting insecurity to our region. What is it that threatens the region more?
This past April, U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo announced on Twitter that the U.S. was designating the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps as a foreign terrorist organization. Then Trump warned Iran about threatening the U.S. In response to Trump's tweet, Foreign Minister Javad Zarif shot back, claiming that Trump was trying to reach what even Alexander the Great or Genghis Khan could not. Well, now that we're here, how can the relationship be turned around? Well, according to former Ambassador Richard Kozlerich, the answer might be surprisingly close.
Interestingly enough, I think it could come from Trump. We've got a model in terms of his relationship with Kim in North Korea. I mean, he is a very confident person about his own ability to negotiate, and he's not constrained by either the lack of previous contact or the difficulty in the current situation.
So in other words, he has nowhere to go but up from here.
I think on the nuclear side. I think it's a long haul. He will not get it done by 2020, or even if he were reelected. I think there's been too much damage done.
Reconciling with Iran could be even harder for the U.S., as some within the administration are calling for Trump to take an even more aggressive stance against Iran.
Policy is really being driven by these aggressive anti-Iran hardliners in the administration, like National Security Advisor John Bolton, like Secretary of State Mike Pompeo. And figures like Pompeo and Bolton, they really oppose U.S.-Iran diplomacy in principle. They have long track records of advocating for bombing Iran, military strikes, and they just don't want to deal with any variation of this Iranian government, and they really are pushing Trump on a path to war. And all the escalation we've seen in recent weeks are getting dangerously close to this.
The growing tension between the two countries aren't just being felt by its leaders. Fuad Maharamov recently moved to D.C., but the relationship between the U.S. and Iran is a major concern for him, and he hopes that it can be resolved soon for the sake of the people.
I think that the relation between Iran and America, however, have to be solved because we are talking about the security of the region, we are talking about the energy security, and definitely I believe that one day Iran will find some solution to find good way consensus with America, because it's around 60 million of population from the Iran, and I believe that they will push their government to solve this problem.
Well, that's all the time we have today in DC Direct, but please be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube at TRT World, and use the hashtag DC Direct to let us know what you think about the U.S.-Iran relationship. Until next time, I'm Lionel Donovan.